Let's fucking go, guys. Episode 5. We are crushing it. I don't want to brag, but this might be the longest lasting podcast ever made. Thanks for coming.
That's a bold statement for 5 in.
But it can't be wrong. Thanks for coming to another episode of Late to the Mic. I'm Patrick, here with Troy and Chaise as normal. Shockingly, Chaise on time, so the whole dynamic of the show is ruined. And now we have a special guest today with us, Jason from Kittinger Reptiles. Thanks, Jason. We're going to see if he makes it through the whole episode. We've only asked for 20 minutes, but we keep asking for 20 minutes and getting the whole hour and a half, so it feels like a win in general. Troy, how's your week going?
Again, man, I'm pretty honest, right? And so I feel like if you ask me this question, I just have to be as honest as I was before we were live. I'm so far behind on my week, dude, that I literally want to walk out in front of traffic at the moment.
Oh, don't do that.
I won't. But that's how I feel. Like,
okay.
I'm just busy. And so the studio, running the rats across the state to people and, keeping up with snakes and whatnot, man, it's just been a lot this week. And I've had a really, Jason and I talked earlier, I've had a really hard time, man, getting back in the flow of things since Arlington. So it's just been tough, man. But other than that, I'm good. I put away a clutch of clown pied stuff. So there's my snake talk for the week. And I'm good, man. I'm good.
I think I should also mention Troy, Jason, and I all may have COVID that we did acquire while at Arlington. So fuck
what
you,
about
Chaise,
Chaise?
for not having it.
You should have came, Chaise. Well, I was taking airborne gummies the entire time I was with you guys, so I was working against it.
Yeah.
I feel pretty decent, man. I just have like a headache, and I feel like my body hurts, but it might just be because I haven't slept a lot.
Okay,
and
that's
so
fair. Yeah,
I'm hoping I don't have COVID. If I actually start to feel legitimately sick, I'll go get a test.
Yeah,
so.
I tested positive this afternoon.
For AIDS.
Yeah, for AIDS.
I wanted to say it, but I was like, I'm gonna wait. I had a feeling you were just gonna come right there and do it.
I love you too. I love you too so much. Fuck y'all. Jason, how's your week going?
I'm kind of with Troy there. It's not great.
Oh, no.
Struggling to catch up. Yep. Feeding snakes, just trying to get everything ready. It's just been it's been a lot. It wasn't an easy transition of coming back from the show this time. Normally it's a little smoother than this. It's been a rough week so far. Not getting sleep, that kind of stuff too. So.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I feel so we don't vend really at all, but I feel like this stretch has to be the toughest for you guys that do vend, because you have Arlington, and then a week or two later every year it's Tinley, and that's a lot of. I mean, Jason down in Florida. I mean that's brutal going both directions. It's got to be 14, 15 hours for each one. Like that's.
Yeah, Arlington's like 16 and a half. Tinley's a little bit worse than that. I mean, and that's if you're speeding the whole time. So every time you stop, you all that ground you gain, you don't really lose. But sometimes it takes me 19 hours to get to Tinley because of traffic and stuff like that. So,
man,
and I drive alone, so that sucks too.
Really, nobody with you?
No, just me.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
So
Jason,
what do you listen to? Are you podcasting, or are you just singing along as you go?
What's that?
As you're driving, are you just listening to podcasts? Do you have a go-to podcast, or are you just like singing along the whole time? I find when I drive to Texas or Tinley, I'm singing the entire time. It's pretty awful. I feel bad for whoever's riding with me at the time.
Yeah, I do a lot of that. I do a lot of singing. This last time I did more podcasts this time though. So most of the way back this time too, I probably about 80% of the drive I podcasted on the way home. But I don't do anything snake related ever. I don't podcast snake stuff ever.
See, I don't either. That's kind of the funny thing. Like
who would watch these things? I mean, I don't get it.
I typically, I don't know if you guys, just to throw one out for you guys, anybody listen to Neil Ford?
No.
He does like short stories. And it's always like a story that has like a really deep meaning. And they're only like 2 to 4 minutes long. And he's got a ton of them on there. So look it up. It's Neil Ford, and it's spelled different. I think it's F-O-R-D-E, I think. But dude, his stuff is really cool. So I'll pop that on while going down the road, and it's got some cool meanings to it. So
Okay.
Nice.
You know who I wouldn't listen to? Patrick.
Okay,
I
I'm ready.
like the chat already. Is like, wow, Chase is on time. Thank you.
I know,
Matt
it makes me
O'More.
so happy.
Yeah.
Troy, why wouldn't you
By the way,
listen
if
to
I'm
me?
looking down like I'm not paying attention, it's because I'm on the chat.
Oh.
So
See, that's the
you
thing.
know.
I've got the chat to the side, so I keep kind of peeking over and just like jumping in with everybody.
Yeah. Anyways,
As they
we
both-
should
as they
probably
both
get
go
rolling on our
silent.
show.
I loved it. What are you talking
It's
about?
all
We
with the
literally are
comments
going.
together.
Yeah, we're going. Chase, how's your week going?
Great feed today. I always get so excited when you're feeding girls and they're just doing everything right. Like they get that first pairing and then they just start smashing food super hard. And you know that like they're going through that motion of everything's going right. And it's just like my favorite thing. So it felt really good today. Hugely awesome feed.
Wait, so what your favorite thing is you feeding girls so they'll do what you want them to do? Is that what I understood?
Well, it tells all the time, I guess. It works.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, I've been super happy with how the feeds have been going. Just it's always nice to get surprises where you're going through ultrasounding and then girls popping off all of a sudden with like 2.5 or 3.0 follicles.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, man, we're literally we're a week and a half, 2 weeks away from pairing. Like it's exciting, man. Season's starting. It's ready to go. I feel like this last year just flew by, so it's super exciting.
I haven't even made my pairing plan yet because I'm behind or discouraged or confused or I don't really know I don't know. We could talk. That could be a whole episode. Anyways,
Troy, if you're interested, I know this service that consults. Patrick might be able to help you.
Yeah. So in other words, I can go to Dr. Cherokee and he can run around his Indian magic on my animals. Great.
Oh my god! Wow.
Oh, that escalated super fast.
That got there really quick. But yeah, man, you definitely should reach out to Chimera Consulting. Here they do great work for reasonable prices, and they'll help you out for sure.
What do you think? Tell the listeners what would if I call you and I ask you to help me with my pairings for the year, what's that cost?
I think he's going to charge you based on what value he thinks he can bring to your company.
So it's entirely based on collection size. I can pull up the price list if you would like.
Oh God, I did wish I wouldn't have asked. Never mind. Move forward.
No, okay, there you go.
Okay, before Patrick reads his own ad, Jason, do you breed all year long, or do you have like more seasonal breeding in your room?
We breed most of the year, so like I stopped breeding about a month ago, but we are about ready to start breeding again. So when you guys said it, it kind of made me sad a little bit. It's like, oh, it's already time to start over again. Because like Troy, I don't have any of my breeding plans scheduled yet, so I typically don't get around to that until maybe around November. I start trying to put all that stuff together. I'm a little late to doing it as well.
And I typically start pairing October 1st. Like I have 2 or 3 girls that always lay real early in the year, so I should be pairing them right now, and I just haven't even made a pairing plan for them.
Yeah, I just miss those ones, so I watch them. I miss every year. I watch them go.
Oh, really?
So they're consistent though.
I'm always crazy about keeping those dates on the tubs, and then I know like 6-7 months before their previous lay date, I'm starting that pairing no matter when it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to be better.
You ultrasounding, Jason, or are you just keeping an eye on stuff?
I ultrasound maybe every month, every 6 weeks, something like that. So I just kind of get a baseline at the beginning of the season to kind of see where I'm at. Back in the day when I first bought the ultrasound, I ruined my whole season I just kept ultrasounding, and I wouldn't pair a snake that didn't have like developed follicles, that was maybe in the 10 range. I wasn't putting anything with them. And then next thing you know, months go by, it hasn't been paired. They never ended up doing anything. So I just kind of use it as a baseline now. And then whenever I find that they're starting to move along a little bit, then I'll try to focus on them a little bit more maybe. But I do ultrasound, but not that much. Not like a lot of people do. I like to palpate still too. So once I get them around, like you can usually feel them around 17 millimeters, something like that. And then I'll kind of just palpate more than I ultrasound. It's a little faster for me.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
and I can usually tell development. I can usually tell the difference in size.
Do you? So me and Joe at JSA is phenomenal at palpating. I couldn't do it to save my life. And he is so good that if I hit it with the ultrasound and it's 12 millimeters, he's pretty close. Like he'll be like, oh, they're 10, 12, and I'll hit it with the ultrasound. Sure enough, and then I'll feel and I can't feel shit, man. I suck at it. So an ultrasound really kind of saves my I guess everything about pairing for me. So
that's small. I can't feel them that small. So maybe
he is so good.
Small.
Him and Sheena both. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're very, very good at it.
Then. I'm usually 17 is my almost guarantee point. So
all right. Okay. Yeah.
I'm jealous of that skill
just because I feel like it saves me a lot of time. Like I can go through pretty fast, like along the adult female wall, and just kind of cruise through and see girls that, hey, she was at like 1 1/4 last time, so she should have a little bit of a jump. She's been eating super hard, so it just gives me the ability to quickly kind of go through and rewrite follicle size and kind of readjust my pairings as the follicles, continue to build.
You probably have a better ultrasound than me too. Like I'm not real fond of mine. My original ultrasound I got was old. It looked like it was 30 years old. That worked better than the new one that I have. I don't like the new one I have.
Oh, that's rough.
Which one do you have, Jason?
I bought it from Breeder Circle, so I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah,
I remember those though, and they were more like when they were selling, like they had the ultrasounds in stock kind of thing.
Yeah,
I remember they were doing that. A lot of people.
Yeah. Do you use it with a pedal?
Yes.
Yeah. I have the really cheap one off of Amazon or whatever. The shit, I can't think of the name of it now, but
Troy just got like the Alibaba ultrasound.
Yeah, it's like $1,100, and it works. You know what I mean? Like it works. It's not perfect, man, but it works.
We have a Mind Ray, and I like it a lot. It wasn't cheap, but
I'm pretty sure ours are Mind Ray as well.
It makes acquisition of the follicles much quicker, and so it saves a lot of time, and you can fly through females, and it definitely helps quite a bit. So
yeah. Well, and for mine, I feel like mine's always so dark. Like where the follicle is, it's always so dark.
Yeah.
And then even this year, it wasn't measuring accurately. Obviously I'm the one measuring it, but when I'm getting it and I'm freezing it and I'm taking the picture of it, to measure it or whatnot, I just felt like they were always off in size. Like they were reading smaller than they really were or something.
Yeah, that could be frustrating. We kind of stopped specifically measuring. So ours has like a little, measuring stick, scale on the side. Yeah. So we don't even really pause it anymore, to be honest. It's more so like I look at it and just mark what eyeball it more or less, because it's generally close enough.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a little bit better at that too, Patrick, just not necessarily having to have, because me and Lisa work it together. I typically hold the snake. She hits it with the paddle. And then I'll hit freeze for her. And then while I'm putting that snake away, she'll measure it. Right. Okay, anymore, I'm almost like, no, those look 15 or 17 or whatever. And so I'll just mark it. Right. But yeah, you get a flow of it.
Yeah. You kind of get a system, and that's Andre and I. So Andre pulls the snake out, hands it to me. I ultrasound it. I tell him the number, he writes it down, and I hand the snake back, and it's just kind of this back and forth thing. So we can get through the collection pretty quick that way. But yeah, generally it's close enough, right? Like at the end of the day, whether they're 10 or 12 doesn't really matter, because that stage of development is basically the same. It's once they're going 15 to 25 or 15 to 30, then you're like, okay, this is a big jump, but 25 to 30 is the same as 30. So
yeah.
Do any of you guys
1.0s? I'm not counting anything, or at 10 millimeter. I'm not.
Yeah,
that's nothing. I'm just like, oh, she's still just holding on to those, because they'll typically have that or smaller all year long.
Year round.
It's only when you can get them. When you hit them they start popping off and growing.
We start keeping track, Chase, from 12 up. So once I see them at 12, I'll throw that first pair in there just to get them going, and then I'll start. Kind of like Jason, after that, I'll start doing every 30 days, and I'll just kind of mark them from a pair date. And then, if we did lock 10 of them, then, 30 days later, I'm checking those 10, and maybe 2 days later, I'm checking the next ones or whatever. But yeah.
I'm with you, Troy and Chase. We generally don't even start pairing them until they're like 10, 15, right? So it's like they have the baseline of like the 5 to 10, I think, pretty much year round. And then once we see any form of development, we'll throw a male in. Occasionally, if we have a female that's been sitting at like 10 specifically for a while, we might throw a male in, but it's just kind of let the ancestors guide you on that one.
And for me with like new girls, that's always like the game to play is, finding out when in the season they're going to start going. Yeah. So for me, like I'll just, when they're up to size, they're looking good, they're just sitting, doing things right. I'll put a male in if I get that first lock, and then she just starts like pounding food, eating heavy.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, okay, there's probably something going on, but I'll give it 45 to 60 days before I even go to ultrasound, do a second lock. I give it a lot of extra time just to see if she really wants to start doing something, and then I'll go with the boy back in.
We ultrasound once a month, and it's probably mildly excessive, but at least keeps on a schedule, and it's given us a lot of data to track in general. And
I find that I have so many girls at different places that I'm ultrasounding different girls almost every week. Like as I go through to do pairings, I'm just like, oh, I should probably just check her and see where she's at and what she's doing.
I got you.
When you guys are ultrasounding, when do you stop pairing? What's that number for you?
When do we stop pairing?
It depends on the girl. For me, like sometimes if they're like 2.5 and they've been there for a hot minute, I'll just put like one more pairing on to let it sail away on.
Yeah.
And then for other animals, if I'm like, oh, I need this male to steal this clutch, I'm hitting them as a couple times up to like 3.0s, even trying to get that male to see if we can get that sperm to steal that clutch.
Chase, real quick, I just want to tell everybody, because most people probably go off millimeter, right? So when Chase says 2.5.
30 millimeters, 30 millimeters.
30 millimeter, 25 millimeter, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So just add a couple zeros to whatever I say.
We generally stop it when we call it either a 3 or a 3.5, which is like the 30 millimeter to 35 millimeter. I'm sure you could probably steal something past that point, but once we get to that range, we pretty much consider them done. So we'll hit them. Generally, that last lock at like 25 millimeter is generally when we're like, that's the last lock. And then if we check the next month and the female's at like 30, 35, we're done. We don't pair again.
So same here, Patrick. When I see 24, 25, 26, somewhere in there, man, I usually pull it and I'm done.
Yeah.
What about you, Jason?
All the way to ovulation. I go all the way. I breed. Yeah.
And he wears those fucking males out. Jesus.
I do.
I feel bad for him sometimes. That's the goal.
He's like, can I get my male to lock this female 27 times before she goes?
And the answer is yes, and I can do that with 10 females.
Hey, at the end of the end of the season, Jason's male is like the thickness of a pencil and is just gasping for life. I can't fuck anymore. I'm done.
I used to be really bad about it. That is the one thing the ultrasound has done is it has saved the males a little bit. I definitely won't breed as much, not like I would before, because I would have one male maybe breed 9 females, and he might see the girl 12 times. They will go back just because, and I'll breed for so long too. So
Jason's over here like making sure that their insides are just plastered with snake sperm.
Jason, I was the same way though, man. Like before the ultrasound, and Joe makes fun of me because like cards, I would have 15 locks written down with a girl, and now that I ultrasound, the last 3 years or whatever, I have like 3 locks, and I'm happy.
It is kind of amazing how it's just changed how we breed animals with having the ultrasound, where it just lets us have that extra tool in our toolbox where we're making smarter decisions on going through and not just wearing these boys out and like, oh, now he saw one girl 15 times, but he can't breed the rest of the season. Yeah. So it's definitely, better for animals and how we can make everything work.
I used to wonder how like guys like y'all and Ozzy and whoever else, they could get like a male to like 15 or 16 females. And I was always like, that just seemed so unreasonable to me. Right. And then you realize like, oh, well, if you're ultrasounding and each female's getting like 2 locks, like all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's very doable. I mean, it's easy peasy there. So
I can't trust it yet. I've been doing it this way for so long. I just have a hard time trusting that it's going to work out. If I stop pairing after, 25 millimeters, I'm just like, I don't know. Always sketched out. I need one more lock.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's rare to see a reabsorb at 25 millimeters.
It does happen,
but
though.
It's happened. And I've had it twice at that size this year. And I just felt so defeated. I was just like, and it was good stuff.
So what do y'all think, though? So like on reabsorbs, I think if a female's going to reabsorb, she's going to reabsorb. I don't think it matters if you keep pairing. So like, even if Chaise, you had thrown another pairing on that animal, I don't think it mattered.
It wouldn't have saved it.
Yeah,
I really don't believe it would have saved it.
Patrick, are you saying it's from their own biological whatever? They're just going to reabsorb. There's nothing we could have done to make it different for them.
I think, and this is all like my feelings, right? I don't have enough data to back this up. I think that if the female's body is not ready or going to go through the whole process of generating the egg, they're going to hit a certain threshold. Their body's going to say nope, and they're just going to be done.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like,
right, and so I think even if you're pairing them, it may be something like maybe early on in the season you were feeding her enough, or she was hungry, and so her body's like, yeah, we can do this, and then they get like halfway through the process. And then the body's like, oh, just kidding. We don't have enough nutrients. We can't do this. I don't think if you keep throwing a male in, it's going to change anything. I think the female decides more than anything.
Yeah. All right.
And maybe once again, that's a feeling and just kind of, but I just think the female has a lot more say than we appreciate.
Yeah.
So
I agree 100%. And that's why I've been, so something new this year that we've not done in the past is I'm actually just like tracking the meals in between like when they lay to when I start pairing again. And, we feed these girls once a week, and I'm starting to see like between like 12 and 16 meals. So 12 to 16 weeks from laying to almost there to start breeding again. They're almost primed to go back if they're getting like good solid meals and coming back on. And a lot of that's key too with, I feel like fighting the reabsorbs, doing whatever we can to make sure they have those nutrients. It is just making sure you're giving them every opportunity to eat as you're pairing through.
Yeah.
Until usually when they get to 20 millimeters or 2.0 for us, they go off feed. We it's pretty much the standard. They'll go off feed at 20 millimeter. Yeah. And then we're not worried about it. At that point, what happens. So either they ate really well and they built through that season, growing up to 2.0 or 20 millimeter, and then they're going to keep going. And we typically see the reabsorbs with girls who were wishy-washy eaters through the pairing process.
Right. 100%.
So I feel like that's a huge part of it. Them knowing if they have the nutrients or not to keep that going.
Quick question from the comments from Luke. He would like to know how long Jason has been in the hobby.
I've been breeding for about 22 years, something like that now. So started with like colubrids and stuff like that. Had some retics and berms, anaconda, stuff like that in the beginning. Wow. So
he started in the 4th grade.
No, I was 16, I think 16, 17. So I was started working with my biology teacher in high school, and he had snakes that he would bring in to school for like genetic stuff. And so then we got to talking somehow, and then I started going over to his place, taking care of his snakes. He had about 120 snakes at that time. A lot of colubrids, like I said, berms, a lot of berms, stuff like that, some boas. So that's what got me into the snakes, really. So
that's awesome. So do you just breed ball pythons now, or do you have still a pretty diverse collection you work with?
No. Somehow I got those blinders on and I went all ball pythons. Somehow I got there. But right now it's mostly ball pythons. I was breeding boas quite a bit. This last collection I've had, I've never been without snakes for any length of time, but I've sold, this is my 3rd collection. So I will kind of sell it out and get down to like real low numbers, and then I'll pivot into something else. So this collection was supposed to be boas. I did that for a couple of years with very little success. So then I started doing ball pythons to fund the boa projects, and then I finally figured out how to breed boas. So I do those as well, but I've downsized a little bit. Now I regret that, the way the current market is. I should have kept some of them boas. But I still have probably about 8 adult female boas. So.
Oh, very cool.
I'm gonna get back into green trees. I bred green trees for a little while there, so that was fun because I like the challenge. It took a while to finally be good at that, but they're cool. So I'll probably start doing that again. So
do you have a favorite all-time favorite boa or a more? I don't know a lot about boas, so I might be asking stupid questions here, but like a favorite, more. The reason I'm asking you is that on your table, man, you've had some absolutely beautiful, red or sunburst or some shit. So maybe you can educate me, what those all are.
I'm really partial to the leopard stuff, which is like kind of like it's considered a dwarf boa, like a Central American boa. I like them just naturally. They're dark, right? And you put them with call albino and some hypo, and then you get the what's it called? I can't even get the name out. It's just a sunglow leopard. There it is, finally. So I really like those because they can be really, really orange and just like they have nice white and stuff that come on them. The red dragons are really nice. I made a couple sun dragons. I would say my ultimate favorite though is just a pure Argentine boa. It's probably the prettiest boa, just in its natural state. I mean, it's amazing. Look, I got one here. It's probably about 7.5 foot. I mean, she's just absolutely beautiful. So,
all right,
that's definitely the coolest one.
So would you flip-flop your numbers right now? Would you rather have as many ball pythons as you have? You'd rather have boas and flip-flop the number?
God, no. God, no.
Okay.
You'd make like 10,000 babies a year. It'd be too much. So,
yeah. And
I mean, if you had
birth, right?
Yeah, live birth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, devastating all its own, right? At least when you get an egg, you feel like you got pretty good control of making that egg hatch. With the live birth, you're just sitting there waiting and hoping the whole entire time. Like,
oh my God.
I'm starting to get good at it where I can tell usually with the way their body is building or something like their posture, you can usually tell when it's going to be a slug litter or something like that. But the boas are so finicky. I mean, it can be just the tiniest little thing, and you can get stillborns or slugs. I mean, it's so easy.
What percentage do you think slug out for you, or stillborn?
Well, part of it's my own problem, right? I like to push it. I like to breed 1 male to 2 females. Occasionally, I've done 3, and with boas, you can't do that. It's a 1-to-1. Typically you can do 2 if the females are spread apart on time. At least if you have at least a month between, you can usually get 2 females with 1 male. But like this year or last year, I had 1 male that had to breed 2 females, and they were back to back. So I favored 1 female. She had all good babies, and then the next one was like just a few slugs, and the rest were good babies. So the more you start doing that kind of stuff, you start losing your odds because that male has to be in there at the exact right time.
What's the difference for that, Jason? Like, why do males only go 1-to-1 versus like us ball python guys, and taking it to 10 females or something? What's the difference there?
I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I would say they're more like people, right? Yeah, timeline has to be perfect. I don't think they retain the sperm. I think it has to be at the exact time when they're ovulating, around that time. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Okay.
So, do you think that mindset of having to have the male constantly hit the female to make sure you get the timing, it's kind of what influences the ball python side for you?
Well, I bred ball python first, and that's what killed me on the boas for years because I bred them like ball pythons. I'd put a male in there and I'd take it out for 2 weeks and I'd put it back in. Well, I was getting nothing but slugs because the male was never in at the right time. So if I put a male in with the female on a boa, I'll leave it in there for 2 months. I'll leave it in there the whole entire time. I'll take them out to feed them. I'll put them back, and they'll just cruise around together a lot of times. And once you'll see them once they're really starting to lock. They're like ball pythons. When they're really doing something, they'll be locked for days. So they're not just breeding anymore.
Little question in the comments, and some people are commenting in there about it. But Courtney asks, is there a difference in a slug and a stillborn with boas?
Yeah, the slug will be like a yellow or an orange. It's kind of like it almost looks like yolk is what it looks like, and it's kind of hard. It gets a little more firm, but it's disgusting inside. It's almost like maybe like what you would think a yolk sac when it dried up a little bit.
Okay.
So, and the stillborn is when the baby is full term, but maybe dead, or it could be premature or something like that too. So boas are gross. Like when you're collecting babies, it's just like all slime and just it's disgusting. So, it's gross.
Yeah. What's it like taking the babies? What's it like taking the babies from mom? Is mom aggressive?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Of course she is.
Usually, if you just kind of like get a snake hook and you kind of poke them a little bit, not just kind of distract them a little bit. Usually, within like 20 seconds, you can distract them enough to hook them up a little bit, and you can usually grab them.
That's what Patrick did to get his first ball python clutch.
I hate you, Chase.
Real quick, KG is in the comments, and I wanted to tell KG that I thought he had a wonderful live earlier with Jaffe and with Chase's biological dad, Justin.
I was watching that.
And it was good. It was really good.
Man, Troy, you spent all fucking day on social media, didn't you?
It's because I didn't want to get shit done because I was so discouraged in my life today that my depression was, 107 out of 10. And I just said, F it. I'm just not going to do much. And then I drove over to Dags and dropped off rats. And then on the way back, I did my thing and then came here and ate some food because I'm fat and worthless. And now I'm here.
I mean,
but I love you guys.
You paint a beautiful picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jason, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
All right. If you could go back in time and see any one event in our history, what event would you like to see?
I don't know. That's too deep of a question. I need a basic, easy question. Like, what would I have rather ate for dinner tonight? That would be an easy one. I could do that.
Okay, let's start with that. What would you have rather had for dinner tonight?
Well, I actually had chicken tenders and steak, so I did pretty good. But I wouldn't have had we like to do like seafood boils here. You know, my son loves them, so teaching him to be real bougie at the age of 6. So get that all that crab and stuff. So
right on. I know your lovely wife and your lovely sister.
Yep.
And so let's just assume God comes down and gives you the opportunity to save the world by pushing one of them off of a cliff. Who are you shoving off the cliff? Your wife or your sister?
Oh, poor Holly. Wait, no, I have to take care of my son. Oh, poor Jen. I'd take care of her.
Jen. Oh, man. So, like, you pushed Holly, but you grabbed her back, and then you shoved Jen. Jen thought she was safe. That's almost worse.
That's a dick move. That's worse. An emotional roller coaster right there.
Yeah.
Holly would never forgive me for that choice, even though I saved her. She would still know she almost got it.
Yeah. You'd be in the doghouse.
It's possible that I could just jump.
I haven't added that. I haven't added that to the scenario yet.
You know what? He brought the third option in. I like that.
Yeah. What about who would you have dinner with? Dead, alive, famous, not famous? Like who's somebody you'd love to have dinner with?
God, I gotta really think about these things.
You're supposed to when you're in the car for 16 hours. This is the shit that I think
about that kind of stuff. I'm talking to myself about nothing, the dumbest things ever.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who would I like to have dinner with? I don't know. It's another tough one. I don't really care about celebrities or anything like that, and I know I should care more about history stuff, but I don't. You know, I'm just kind of a really boring person. I'd probably be like a musician of some sort. You know, like, God, who would I like to eat dinner with?
Van Halen.
No, I mean more Metallica. I wouldn't want to go that route.
Ooh, all right, good stuff. Yeah.
I loved him so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we're gonna skip past these questions. And I'm gonna take a couple. Yeah. No, I don't want. I like you too much to run you through this. So, I don't. If I didn't like you, I would just keep going. But I love you, and so I'm not going to. My buddy Tony asks if what your thoughts are on the Zebra project.
I don't know enough about it. I mean, I've seen some stuff and it's really nice. I think it's cool. I mean, I'm not personally working any of that stuff right now. I feel like I can't afford it. And I mean, not that I couldn't afford it maybe, but I wouldn't put my money into it right now because I have too many other projects that I need to square up with getting better males or something like that. I don't really have the ability to jump into a new project. But
without having to really go through it all, Jason, like how, just off the top of your head, how many projects are like recessives or whatever? How many do you think you have?
Probably, I mean, I got a lot of single recessive doubles and triples now. So I'm probably maybe about 12 different types of projects. I mean, a lot of them are involving the same genes, right? Obviously, but in all their different forms. So
if you could only keep 3 of them for the rest of your life, what 3 would you keep?
I'll just give them all up. That's what I'd do. Just get rid of them all.
We've had this conversation.
This is how you go back to boas right now. Thanks a lot, Troy.
This is there's a lot of negativity coming on right now.
I would stick with my puzzle stuff. I like that. It's new and fresh to me right now, so I like the puzzle stuff. The Axanthic DG type combo stuff, whether it's clown or just in that double form. I really like the way that stuff looks. Big fan of Axanthic stuff. I've always liked that.
Yeah.
What would my other third project be?
Hypo
It would all be
Pie.
in that same range between Axanthic, Hypo, and Puzzle, and Desert Ghost. So all those, 4 things together, somehow mixed into those 3.
All
If
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah, this question gets asked a lot, but it's from Kenneth. He would like to know what you think the most underrated gene is currently.
That's another tough one. I'm so inside my own bubble all the time. I don't pay attention to other genes really out there. I mean, what would I consider underrated?
Huffman.
Spider.
Trojan.
Trojan is actually the answer.
I would go with I think Trojan is really, really pretty neat, man. I really like the Trojan shit that I have.
It's
We,
there's gonna be some more good stuff coming down in the future.
Yeah, we're gonna have some pictures of some stuff that's gonna.
Yeah.
Shit.
I don't have any Trojan stuff. I've never really seen it in person, So I mean, I've seen a few pictures online. I'm like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool, but to me, it doesn't have anything for me yet. But I also do realize, once you actually get to see these things in person, you actually get the whole one. It's very different.
Jason, you've been to the facility. We did not deep dive enough, man.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing any Trojan stuff, but we probably did.
You know why? You know why, Jason? You know what? I'll tell you, Chase. I'm gonna tell the cat out of the bag. It's because Chase was worried. I mean, it's because Jason was worried about drinking beer in the facility, so he kept sneaking out to have a beer in his truck. That's 100% true story.
Well, whatever it has to do to get through hanging out with us. I mean, we are pretty difficult to deal with,
Y'all are exhausting.
It was only when Miguel was there and I offered him a beer and he wanted a beer, but we didn't drink the beer. I did have it in the cooler though, in the car.
What did you guys sneak off and do?
Yeah, what did you go do in the truck then if you weren't drinking beer? This guy.
We never made it out of the parking lot. We stayed right there.
That's not helping your argument at all.
This is getting from bad to worse.
Yeah, Jason, I think you tried to just dig yourself out of a hole and you found yourself in a much bigger hole.
It's so comfy down there.
That's great, man. That's
Troy,
great.
You've got several people popping off in the comments that are also agreeing with Huffman.
Yeah, well, that's because Huffman's the way to go, man. Y'all missing out.
Isn't that the Texas gene? That's,
It is.
I hate you.
It's Texas.
Patrick,
Black
you must
pastel.
have a lot of it, right? Since
I
you're
have
from
0.
Texas.
None.
0.
None.
Well, you
Yeah.
broke away, so
I moved away before Huffman made it into my collection.
You moved away when you also thought that Terry whatever Black's barbecue was good, and it's not.
No, Troy. Everybody there said that Terry Black's was good, and even JD approved of it. So I win.
Maybe people are trying to be nice to you.
Nope. JD would not be nice to me.
All right, moving on. Jason, favorite show?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, at the moment, I don't have a favorite show, but I did like The Boys when that came out. That show was pretty good.
Oh man, that's some good shit.
Yeah,
that's an intense show though, man. There's some weird
it's
shit
a lot
going on there.
It's a lot.
You gotta really like. My wife and I would binge it for like 3 or 4 episodes, and then have to go watch like something else, just as like an amuse bouche, right? To just cleanse the palate.
Yeah,
I've been a big Yellowstone guy, but the new season's now out, and I'm afraid to watch it because Kevin's gone, right? He's leaving or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I haven't watched the first 2 episodes yet this season because I'm kind of boycotting it for a moment until I decide to just give in. But
yeah, I like Yellowstone. Yellowstone's really good too. I would watch like 6-7 episodes a night. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, I'd be up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, not getting anything done the next day, just so addicted to it. So that's a good one too.
Nice.
So,
that's like chasing My Little Pony. It's tough on him, but he gets through it.
For sure. I mean, that's the only way I found out how to make friends. So
yeah, Chase is definitely a real life Care Bear.
No, Ahsoka for me right now.
Oh, it's so good. Oh.
It is so good.
All right.
I'm so sad Ray Stevenson passed away because I would have loved to see him in a second season of it. Like, he's made the show. He's outshadowed everybody.
Ooh, I like KG's answer of Sanford. So that's good stuff right there, KG. I like to go old school. When I was a kid, I used to watch Nick at Night, and I would watch like Donna Reed and like Bewitched and all these like black and white or like early color, like like shit my dad watched as and I loved it. Like, that was good TV.
Yeah, I think we talked about it before, Troy. Like MASH was one of the ones growing up that I crushed.
Love
and
MASH. Like that was such a fun
My
show.
siblings and I grew up on MASH.
Dude, I love it. I was watching it on the way flying to and from Arlington. Like that was one of the shows. Oh, Bomb Projects. There we go. Yeah, man, I love MASH. It's good stuff. It's one of my favorite shows still. It's definitely a comfort watch to say the least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff. Favorite thing to eat?
Probably steak. I'm definitely a ribeye guy. That's my
Nice.
favorite.
All right.
Good answer.
Yeah, good stuff. Yep. All right. If you were gonna ask us any one question, what would your question be?
I don't think about any of this stuff.
I know.
What do you think about then,
We
Jason?
kind
I'm
of let
so
Troy ask the
confused.
questions because he has the worst on the spot difficult questions.
Yeah, I don't have anything to ask you guys.
Wow.
Let's see.
Are we
What
that
should I ask
uninteresting to you?
Yes.
I mean, I enjoy talking to you guys at shows. You guys are great.
If you'd like to ask me, if you'd like to ask me, if you'd like to ask me which one of these guys I'd like to push off a cliff, it's Patrick.
I know. I knew
that would have
was
been my
the
guess
answer.
anyway.
Yeah, that's not a stretch at all.
Yeah, but Patrick would use his Cherokee Indian magic, and he would come back to life.
It's true. I would respawn. It'd be fine.
He's a Cherokee warrior.
Well, I wouldn't say warrior. But you know, it's okay.
He's also a doctor. If you didn't know, Jason, he's a doctor.
Troy, are you feeling triggered today? Do you just
Yes.
feel like you need to lash out?
I just
I'm
want to
actually
lash
pretty
out
let
at you.
down. Out of the group of the three of us, I'm the only one without a 3-letter, diploma.
Oh,
Because we got a
I have a
PhD and
GED.
a GED.
True. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Jason didn't graduate high school either.
I mean, I did barely.
Damn it, Jason.
I did.
Way to ruin it.
I like how Jason was like, no, I did. I did. I'm not going to let you have this one, Troy.
I barely tried and I still did it. If that counts, I don't know.
I love it. I'm gonna end with this. I'm gonna end with this question. Somewhat, Jason. It's gonna be like a few-part question. You have alopecia. Did I say that right?
I do.
All right. Thank you. I always
where
like
this
to
is
hear.
going.
I always like to hear how people overcome things, right? And you and I have talked about like you growing up and people messing with you and stuff about it. Like, how do you think like tell people how you kind of overcame, dealing with that and like how you deal with it now?
I mean, it's probably not the most sunny way to deal with the problem. I mean, just as I aged, I would get bullied and picked on all the time, right? And it was rough for a long time, right? And I was always short, not having hair. So I got picked on a lot. And then, kind of was a turning point for me. And it was, like I said, it's not the best avenue, but it's definitely worked for me is learning to stand up for myself, right? Mostly it was more of a anger thing, right? Somebody they'd just keep picking on me. As I got a little bit older, I would just turn around and I would punch somebody and then they would never mess with me again. And I kind of learned that, that kind of behavior. And then that kind of just gave me the confidence, I think, to realize that, a lot of people that are going to mess with you just really are cowards anyway, right? And if you do anything about it, they're not going to do anything anymore. And then I was able to grow up and just kind of learn that it didn't really matter. I didn't care what other people thought anymore. And, I would say that just kind of be true to yourself, and don't worry about other people. A lot of people want to say stuff and just, it's usually because they're sad and pathetic, whatever that reason may be. People that always, pick on people, Troy, and, all that, they got their own issues. But, it's just, I think that's what it is, just being comfortable with who you are and being happy with who you are. Everybody's different. Nobody's perfect, and not having hair is in the scheme of things is really not a big problem, at least for as the problems that you could have in life, right? To try to overcome something, but it made me the person I am today. It made me a strong person, a confident person, and I'm thankful in a way, it was definitely hard, but once I reached that point, it didn't matter anymore. Like now I'm very comfortable and it makes me more of a personable person and things like that. So it allowed me to grow. So
I think that's very true, man. You and I have had some great talks over the phone, and I think you have a very positive ending to, being dealt with being bullied and things like that. So I super appreciate you sharing a little bit of that. And I think you're right on, man. Right? I think it's a big part of your story, and I think it's definitely made you a great person. So.
Yeah, I think just digging deep, right? You just keep on. You dig deep and you find yourself. It made all the difference, So
nice, man. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's my question. That's my questions for Jason. So we can go back to dumb snake talk now.
Good, because I was looking pretty dumb with all those questions. I'm killing it.
I disagree. I think you look wonderful.
Yeah.
Does Jason have a brain? I don't know.
More so, it was, does Jason think about anything other than reptiles? That's what I took from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think about snakes too much, and then I'd like to think about them less. It'd be nice if I could just kind of get it out of my head. My brain's always just bouncing around and stuff all the time. So,
do you have any hobbies outside of the snake room?
I like to fish, but it's hard to do that because of the snakes. So
he also likes to go out about midnight and just do donuts out in the lake.
I do like to do that.
Doing donuts,
having a couple cocktails. Yep, cruising around the lake by myself in the dark.
Yep, talking to Troy.
You work out a little bit.
Occasionally, yeah. I'm getting back into the gym now. I know everybody's like, "Oh, you work out all the time." I don't, but I'm starting to again.
A little bit more bull semen to the biceps, maybe. We're gonna get a little bit thicker.
Yeah, gotta keep pumping it in there.
So it's basically steroids. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not true.
Can we chit chat about Arlington and upcoming Tenley?
Sure.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Troy, how did Arlington go?
Oh my God, why did I even ask? I am brutally honest, and I think that's actually somewhat of the problem in our industry is maybe even our honesty is not what we should be sharing because it gives maybe a negative effect to the whole thing. So Arlington didn't go well, right? When you look at it from a sales standpoint, I did not do well dollars-wise. But if you've heard me on any podcast before, you know that I don't necessarily count my show off of how I do dollars-wise. I think from a marketing standpoint, I did have a decent amount of conversations with people. I've met some new people that I hadn't met at Arlington before. And so things like that, at least bring me a lot of, joy or, I guess forward thinking it's going to be better off in the future. But the show was slow. It definitely was slow. I didn't feel like it had the same draw as before. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why sales were bad. I think that there's just an array of things. It was freaking hot compared to like the last September show. Whether the heat kept people away, if there was a lot going on. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But overall, again, if I split the show in two things, sales and marketing, from a marketing standpoint, I think I was pretty happy. From a sales standpoint, it was pretty rough.
Jason, how about you, bud?
Yeah, I'll agree with that for the most part. Sales wasn't good. Wasn't good for us. I know some people did better, right? But for us, it was definitely a slow show. I felt like there weren't as many customers in there. There just didn't seem like there were as many people walking around as typical. I don't know. And even people just didn't seem like they want to be engaged, when they would come up and you'd talk to them. It just seemed like a lot of people just weren't really interested, whether maybe they weren't interested in the ball pythons, maybe they were more for the geckos or something like that, but I just wasn't getting that connection that I feel like we normally have at the shows, so, but again, we did have a good time. We got to meet a lot of people. There were some pretty cool animals there at the show to check, to look at, it's like some higher end cool stuff. So, I always appreciate that when you get to walk around and look at some things that, that you're impressed to see,
Yeah.
You don't get those the little replicons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like just walking around though, I even picked up that vibe of like, it just didn't seem like anyone was really like engaged, like interested wise, just to like, pick up that conversation and kind of deep dive on some of the animals at the table. And there were some really nice animals there, so I was really surprised by that. I'm just not sure I've seen a show in Arlington at least like that where it just seems like the people through the door weren't like fully engaged in what was there and what was in front of them. It was kind of odd.
So Chase, you got to explore the show like I normally do, right? Where we just
Yeah, it was
linger
nice. It was
and
nice to be on the
wander.
Patrick side of things. for
Yeah.
that.
So what I'll say from the non-vendor side, because Andre and I don't vend. The show people-wise felt pre-COVID. So like pre-COVID, I remember going to Arlington and Tinley, and they weren't always packed. They were good shows, but not packed. The difference this show, and it goes back to what Jason kind of were saying. The people didn't seem as into the animals as much. It was kind of interesting. It was a lot more almost like pet people just kind of flying through looking for like the best deals, almost it felt like.
Yeah.
And so, it used to be when, Andre and I would be walking from table to table, there were people coming through constantly with cameras and pictures and like absorbing every fucking animal. And it was exhausting at times. And this time, if it wasn't like another breeder, I didn't see a lot of people like doing lives and really like the normal social media stuff even.
Yeah, Chris brought that up in the the comments from Epic. He was vending as well, and kind of same thing, right? Like you just didn't see, the Canadian guys running around, or like, other bigger names that came in from California or something walking around, and the guys doing videos, and yeah, that definitely was missing.
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to be very interesting to see what Tinley looks like. And Tinley to me will be kind of like the measuring stick at this point of where I really feel like the industry as a whole kind of is. Like Arlington, like I said, it's always been a good show, but I grew up with that show, and I don't ever remember it being crazy. I remember like first Tinley I went to, even like pre-COVID, it was nuts.
Yeah, I've been to every Tinley since the first one, man, and I can't ever recall one that's ever been bad.
No, and especially fall Tinley. I mean, this is like the peak of shows going, coming up next week, and I am super excited. Like we are going to bring some just crazy stuff we have not shown. I'm ready to see people's reactions. I'm like thoroughly excited to get up to Tinley and set up.
And you don't want to tell us what it is?
Absolutely not. You got to come over and see, just like everybody else.
What's funny, Chase, is I'm in the aisle with you, and I probably won't come look.
Yeah, you will.
Joe will text me and be like, it's a blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, cool. No, I mean, I hate coming down to your booth. I'm gonna be honest, man, your booth is always packed, and I have to people then, and I have to like squeeze through them, and I feel like I'm fat and pathetic, and I hate it. So I just stay in my booth.
Troy, you want to know how to beat that system? You just go in the back and you just stand
I do go through the back, and I talk to Chase, and then Justin glares at me because he doesn't like me.
Just give him a lanyard to hang on somebody, and he'll be so excited it'll be fine.
Yeah, I am excited to see my buddies from across the pond, Tom and Scott. I talked to Tom today, and so I'm super excited to see those guys. They're always a riot. So, what do you guys think? Like from my point, here's the thing, Chase. I know that you guys vend, but I think it's different for you guys, right? Like, for me and Jason, like we're vending in a different aspect of the show, like, sales wise versus what I think you and Justin do. That's just my opinion. So like, I don't know, Jason, do you have overall good thoughts about going into Tinley? Do you feel like it'll be a bloodbath? Do you feel like it'll be normal? Do you feel, what's your thoughts?
It's hard to say. I mean, I kind of think, the way Daytona was for me, it's always Daytona, Arlington, Tinley, right? They always kind of like, they're almost like a stepping stone for one another. And they always seem to price point, I feel like, one another too. Daytona, you get this sort of price. Arlington's the next like kind of tier, and Tinley does the next thing. So I'm not sure what to expect. The way Arlington was, it was kind of a letdown, but it's not really the same show as a Tinley, right? So Tinley always has the potential to do very, very well, right? So I'm hopeful that it will do well, right? Especially on the high end side, So I want to be optimistic and say that I think it's going to be good, but it's hard to say. I mean, if nothing else, I get to see a lot of people there where I don't get to see them at other shows. So for me, getting to hang out with all my friends and people that I don't actually get to spend a lot of time with is nice. Just
I feel like with Daytona and with Arlington, like those are really heavy, kind of more regional shows. And then with Tinley, everyone kind of knows like, oh, that's the pilgrimage. Like, that's more the national, partially international show where, you see a lot of the bigger players. You see a lot of really, really big spreads, especially in October where everyone's got their babies hatching. So you're seeing all the most brand new cool stuff coming out, most cutting edge animals. So I feel like that show always does better because there's so much more hype around it and just what's, produced at the time that the show is there. So it really works out time-wise this season.
I'm curious though, with everybody's seasons continually kind of getting pushed back, it's going to be interesting to see this Tinley, what it looks like compared to March Tinley, because I wonder if a lot of people are starting to tell me they're just starting to hatch stuff. And so
it does seem like a lot of people are having a late season.
Yeah. So it's going to be very curious to see if this Tinley, I know I expect Kinova to bring, crazy stuff. I expect, Kittinger, Troy, you've been hatching stuff relatively early. You're going to have cool stuff. But I think a lot of people, when you talk to them, like Troy said, the season's been pushed back. So I'm really curious to see if October is the show off one, or if we have to wait till March to really get blown away by some crazy shit. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, and maybe that's part of what's affecting shows to some degree. Andre and I kind of talked about it the other day. Sales have really started to pick up the past month or two, and I think a lot of it is people's seasons are starting to hatch right, and they're starting to have a little more money from sales, which then comes back into the industry. So I wonder if that's part of that as well. Oh, and we lost. He said, "I'm done listening to Patrick fucking talk."
Yeah, Jason's like, "I'm done. I'm out."
Real quick, High Vis Pythons. This is going to be their first big show. So you guys, you picked an awesome one to be at. And then he also asked for those who weren't there at Arlington, what was the best part? So, what was your guys' favorite part? Jason jump back in.
Yeah, dinner at the Airbnb was my favorite part.
Right,
that was a ton of fun. That was a cool just crew of everyone hanging out at the Airbnb. I did enjoy the baseball game with you guys.
Oh yeah, the baseball game was
I'm glad we got
too.
to do that. So that was great. The Mariners versus Rangers game.
Yeah, Troy, I'm so glad you set up the dinner. I'm so happy. That was
man. I thought that was a good time, and I would love to do that everywhere we go, man. It's tough, right? Airbnb wise and rules and. Just I don't know. It's tough, but
those Airbnbs we've had the last few years have been amazing. The owner's been so cool with us, just being able to do stuff like that. And I feel like Tinley is just such a harder Airbnb place, anyways, to kind of find an Airbnb like what we have in Arlington. We're just not getting into that.
No, I mean our Airbnb in Tinley is going to be nice, but it's 10 minutes away from the venue. Most people aren't going to make that trek, right?
See, ours is 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's
Chase.
tough.
Did you guys Airbnb this time, or did you get for Tinley, or did you guys just in hotel in it?
No, I'm pretty sure we have an Airbnb.
All right,
we're going to have part of the Clutch crew with us too, so I'm pretty sure we're doing an Airbnb again.
He's back.
Jason,
we
lost you.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
That's all right. Jason, the question is what was your favorite thing about Arlington? And we were talking about the dinner at the Airbnb and our baseball game and stuff. So what was your favorite thing you did or went on at Arlington?
Man, I like it all. I wouldn't say anything was a favorite, because they're all different things, right? I got to hang out with different people in different places, right? And that was the big important part, whether we were, the barbecue was fun, a lot of people in there. Could have used a few less people. For me, I felt a little crowded. But the barbecue was fun. Just going back to the bar at the hotel and hanging out there and talking to the people there is fun. I get to meet a lot of different people, especially when I'm bouncing around, going from, the barbecue and back to the hotel and stuff like that. So yeah,
I think, and tell me if I'm speaking.
I'm trying to figure out how to get this volume better. I can't hear you guys.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm on the move. Hold on.
Hey, good, Jason, if you need to pop out and pop back in, because I've had to do that before. My volume's fixed.
I did that, and then it totally, the computer said I had no internet. So then I got on my phone to do that. So let me see if I can go get my Bluetooth headphones and.
I think it kind of sounds like the networking is everybody's favorite at the show, to be honest. Like when we talk about the party or, the dinner, all of that just comes down to networking. And I think that's both, obviously we don't vend at the show, but I think that's the most important. No, it's not.
Real quick, Chimera's vending Tinley though, right?
No. So we can't get a table. We actually, Andre really wants to.
Because your snakes don't pull weight.
It turns out, man.
He doesn't have enough hog nose at the table, so
that's what it is.
Quit trying to sell those small turtles.
We've ended in 2019. We had a good time, but I just didn't love it, and so we didn't keep our table. And Andre would have liked to have ended, but it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. But I think the networking, like that's seems to be the best part of all of the shows. Like the sales are good, but
right. Well, Brian from BC, like I was going to make a point of his comment, and it talks about the hanging out and the networking, right? Like,
yeah,
first and foremost, that should be your biggest goal, I think, at a show before sales. It should be your networking. Networking and marketing go hand in hand. And if you're showing off good animals and you're networking with people and you're building relationships, that all turns into sales. And without it, if you think you're just going to set up and be like, oh, people are going to come buy my snakes, you're going to get a really tough lesson.
Yeah. But I mean, it's 100%, but even the networking, like where you build the relationship and the friendships makes the shows better in the future too, right? I mean, when you have when you're going to see your friends and hang out with your friends at the show, it makes it infinitely better just in that sense as well. I mean,
yeah,
maybe
it's
not
never
for
enough
y'all.
time.
Yeah,
like
maybe
we
not
never
for
have
y'all
enough
since
time
you're
with each
stuck
other.
me, but you know,
we enjoy you, Patrick.
it's okay. You don't have to lie here, Trey. It's a safe space.
Oh, but I love you.
I know you do. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, clearly I don't know how to fix any of these problems.
Oh, is your sound still screwy?
Yeah, I mean it's only running through my earpiece on my phone and not like my speaker, and it won't. I can't get it on the computer with the internet.
Can you X out of this and sign back into it?
I can attempt to.
Do it. Let's see what happens.
I'll give it a shot.
All right. Hey,
Troy,
Chase is cut in half again.
Troy, he's trying to get out of being on the podcast. Nice.
I know, right? And I'm trying to pull him back in. Yeah.
You're not letting him escape.
I'm not letting him escape. If he would just say, hey, I need to go to bed, I'd be like, hey, go to bed.
Chase, that's not going to work for you.
Leviathan in the comments is picking up their first puzzle animal for puzzle projects for their collection in Tinley. So that's awesome. You know,
nice.
You guys.
Yeah.
I love puzzle stuff.
Puzzle is cool.
For sure.
Yeah,
I just hypo puzzle in the egg right now. Pretty excited. Hoping it's a girl.
Nice.
All right. I just sent a puzzle or a het puzzle girl to Jason to do a little project together with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Exciting.
I sent one to Andrew at Redwood as well, and so sometimes those deals help out, right? Like you have the right girl, they've got the right male. Might as well split up a clutch and try to push yourself forward through those partnerships.
Yeah, I was just winning some long odds with that clutch. I've got that animal in right now. It was a spot nose triple het hypo DG puzzle to a het hypo DG puzzle. So really just throwing like the Hail Mary there. And with those pairings, you're just hoping to get a double, maybe two, and then just building blocks. And then now that we can test
Chaise
for others. So, but I was pretty happy to have the little hypo puzzle in there, the OD hypo puzzle.
Yeah. Justin talked about tonight on KG's Live that he has triple. I think he said he has a clutch from Monarch Monsoon Pied.
I don't think
he said it was a triple, and it was Monarch Monsoon Pied, I think. And I want to say it's in the incubator. KG, if he's in the comments, he can help me out, but I believe that's what he told me.
I wasn't there for that part of the live.
Uh-oh. This is
because I peeked in. Checking on Boss Man, making sure,
Chase is like, I'm not allowed to say things right now.
Yeah, where's KG? KG needs to be in the comments still. He can help me out.
He can come and save the day.
Yeah, come save the day. Yeah. I'd be curious.
I can tell you for Monarch stuff, so frustrated, my chocolate Monarch clown boy will not breed to save my life. So
KG says it's a quad pairing. And I know Monarch, Monsoon, Pied, and something were involved. And Justin says you guys have a clutch in the incubator.
I mean, his memory, without me looking at like my spreadsheet of clutches laid, I'm not going to be able to pop off every single one of them. He, on the other hand, and Patrick knows, Justin, on the other hand, Oh yeah, as soon as it's texted to him or he sees a picture of it, it's clocked in the memory bank, and he will just 100% go back and reference it.
All right.
Because anytime I need to find an animal in the facility, I'm just like, hey, where's this girl at? And Justin will just third rack, second column, about halfway down. But right every time.
All I hear from Chaise right now is I don't care enough about the collection. That's all I hear.
Yeah.
KG said it's a Monarch Monsoon DG Pied. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. What I want to know is if it's actually in the incubator, if that's what you're bringing to Tinley.
No, that's something still in the incubator.
All right. Jason
if
is
anything came from
with
that,
headphones on. All right.
Hey, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear
I
you.
can.
Jason, be honest. Were you trying to have like the smooth getaway and just be like, oh, my audio's not working. Goodbye, guys.
Once the headphones didn't work, yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what?
This is
Blaze.
You know what? If you want to go, Jason, it's okay. You won't hurt our feelings.
I told him that tonight. You just say, I got to go. And we say, see you later.
Well, it's a lot easier when it was on the computer. Not that holding this little tiny phone's that big of a problem, but it was nice when I got to sit in my chair.
Okay.
I guess I can still do the same thing. Let me try. Oh wait, it's still here. Oh, we got it.
Patrick Kenneth Haven in the chat is flexing on some cool puzzle stuff they got from you.
Oh, Kenneth, what do we got here? Oh yeah, Kenneth bought a head hypo puzzle, right? I believe it was a female.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. The hypo puzzle stuff's so pretty. Like I've got that OD hypo puzzle male that Justin picked up for us like last year.
Yeah,
one of the prettiest animals in the facility. He really is
crazy nice.
I had the opportunity to buy the Super OD puzzle mail related to your mail, and I missed out, and I'm a little upset about it. So
sorry.
I should have a clutch of some Super OD puzzle hypo stuff laying in like a month. So
shut up, Chaise. No one wants to buy your snakes. God. This is not a sales pitch podcast, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to switch to another commercial so you can give a Chimera consulting.
Yes, please. If you're looking to enhance your breeding collection.
By the way, Patrick,
do you have snakes that need help managing them?
You need expert doctor advice from a minority-owned business. Chimera consulting.
Listen, if anybody in the chat that doesn't already know, like you're purely making a guess, if you can guess what makes Patrick a minority, I will be shocked that you guessed this.
Oh my God.
I'm ready for chat to start popping off now.
Oh no. None of it is going to be good.
Yeah.
I feel like the chat can be canceled.
It's going to be great.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? So guys, we did actually record a Friday night episode at Tinley or at Arlington, and unfortunately we will not be able to air that.
Brian Hamstra with the W.
There it is. You got it.
Brian's cheating. He was at the dinner when we talked about this.
Oh well. It's good to see he's in the chat hanging out with us, though.
Yeah.
KG got it as well immediately.
Yeah. Tell everybody about how you're 12.5% Cherokee Indian.
I am legally 1/8 Cherokee Indian, but more importantly,
by the way, by percentage, that's 12.5. But go ahead, 1/8 works too.
Yeah, legally I am. I am also though a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. So
can you show everybody your card carrying Cherokee card?
I don't have it on me at the moment because I'm in the kitchen and it's in the bedroom. But I do have a Cherokee license. My family has been registered on the Dawes Rolls since the Trail of Tears.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, new subject.
Yeah.
I think that's only because Troy is going to burst if we keep going.
I mean, Troy, you started this. It is what it is. I'm a citizen. What do you want from me on this?
I don't. If you're not 51% or more, you don't have a right.
Is that how that works?
Mike, that's the soapbox I'm going to stand on.
So when a military child is born overseas, like in London, and they get an English citizenship, they shouldn't have that?
That's different.
It's identical.
It's not.
It is.
That scenario is actually my scenario, by the way. But anyways.
Sure, but I have citizenship in the Cherokee Nation because my family has that lineage, and the rules for citizenship in the
oh my God, this is going to turn so bad.
Oh man,
Mhm.
I'm loving chat right now.
You basically,
my headphones
basically
again.
Brian from Kazakhstan, I could see that more right now. It's the beard.
Yeah. Basically, the other part of Patrick, the other 88% of Patrick's heritage stole Indian land, so that then Patrick could be like, I'm 12% Indian, and then benefit from it.
I don't think that's true either. All my other heritage was German.
Oh yeah, Germans are white.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anyways, we should go back to something else.
Yeah, let's go back to the puzzles.
Yeah. So back to puzzles. I sent Jason a really nice female that he's gonna pair up with his wonderful male, and we're gonna make some nice puzzle babies.
That's the plan, at least. We hope so.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
It better.
Did you get her put away okay? Is she good and safe?
Yep. She ate yesterday. So
because I brought you the box and I handed you a box and you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I forgot that you were bringing it. I had no idea. I'm thinking, what are you bringing me? So, but then I opened it up and I realized I was like, oh yeah, we talked about this a couple months ago. So
yeah,
but
nice.
Yep, I look forward to it. And the more females I can get, the better. So,
all right,
hopefully we'll have
going again. KG said, "Time to open a casino," and then Kenneth, Patrick equals he who made mini ball.
Oh my God, I love this.
And this is the episode we get canceled on. I was wondering how far in we'd make it.
5. We made it to 5.
So we're not going to be the longest lasting podcast ever. We had a good run.
Yeah.
Love this so much.
So back to puzzles. Jason, what's your most exciting puzzle project?
I'm pretty much only doing the hypo puzzle stuff. So I'm hopeful this year that I can do I got an Odie yellow belly hypo puzzle male that I'm going to try to breed to. I think I'm going to put it on the Super Odie Enchi yellow belly hypo puzzle female, which I know I'll make ivories, but they'll all be orange dream hypo puzzle combos at the very worst. So I don't think I'm going to be upset about that. They're going to be so genetically powerful.
It'll be okay. You'll survive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like yellow belly is such a nice key gene for so many things that I definitely run into running the risk of ivories with a lot of pairings. But typically, it's worth the risk of you hitting 1-2 ivories, and then you get some crazy bangers out of that.
Yeah,
I get that ivories kind of suck from an ID standpoint, but with testing, do you think supers like that can be beneficial to people though too that want to make sure they're hitting all yellow bellies in a pairing or whatever? Like, do you think ivories aren't such a bad thing at that point?
Yeah, I definitely think it's beneficial.
Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. I don't think people are going to seek out to make ivories that are just gene packed, but I definitely think that the ivories we do end up hitting as kind of like a byproduct from that clutch, we're going to be able to test out and really kind of lock down what's there for the most part in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I definitely think testing reduces the fear in yellow belly to yellow belly pairings for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that fear goes away with that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
I was reading the chat. I gotta say, I can't look at the chat. Horrible. This podcast is done.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I'll at least do 3 or 4 clutches of hypo puzzle stuff this year. I hope. Maybe I'll get lucky and do a few more than that. But I only made a few this year. I didn't do as good as I would like. My last clutch I just bombed on. All hypos, no puzzles. I didn't even get the codoms to line up together. So
that's rough.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But
KG brings up in his puzzle stuff. Obviously comes from Ozzy, I'm assuming, because it has the weirdo gene that Ozzy talks about. Do any of you guys have anything with that, with Ozzy's side of the weirdo stuff, or any of you working that?
No, none of.
So So I'm not for sure, but weirdo seems basically to be cryptic, right? Because we have puzzle stuff that looks fairly similar to the weirdo that we know is cryptic. I don't know for sure, and maybe it is different. I just some of our puzzle stuff looks very similar to the weirdo stuff. And we found out ours has cryptic. So we accidentally have it if it's similar stuff, but other than that, we don't have any intentionally.
Yeah, we have a little. We make animals that tend like we make both of them, right? That look more of the standard puzzle than some that look more of the cryptic-y type.
Yeah,
I don't know what the weirdo is because he claims like the weirdo and cryptic and puzzle. So I don't know what the difference between them are.
Okay.
Right? I think he does a cryptic and then he does a weirdo with it too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you know, we definitely don't know what it is, at least on our end, and as far as what it's going to do, because you know, between what my buddy Barry's been doing with a lot of that stuff, you know, he hasn't isolated it by itself yet, you know, and all his original male had made both types, you know, and that he keeps, you know, breeding some of this stuff back together and hasn't really isolated anything out of that as far as making like maybe it would be more of a pure cryptic type animal or something. So just wonder if it's some kind of variation of the puzzle itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will is saying that weirdo is supposed to be like Het Daddy, but I still don't know.
Interesting. I got you.
Yeah, wasn't the daddy stuff like a granite deal, or am I off?
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. I might get in some trouble here. Like, I feel like a lot of the daddy stuff and the platinum stuff and all of that was like it all came in from the Ralph Davis like lesser stuff, right? And I feel like all of that has gotten so dilute that I don't know if much of that's actually really floating around anymore. If it's just like some random granite stuff that people are like, oh, it's slightly different, therefore it's this gene, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up platinum. Yeah. Joe and I were talking about this. Like, we couldn't remember. You had to do something with lesser to get to platinum. What was it?
Oh, fuck if I remember, man. I once again, I don't really know if there was much to it, to be honest. Like,
yeah, we were thinking it had to be a certain lesser something to get to the actual platinum, but we couldn't remember.
You had the lesser het platy daddies, and then you would breed that to something else, and you could get a lesser platinum daddy. And
yeah,
was this all what, like 2010 to like 2013 kind of stuff going on?
Yeah, it was. I don't know, like, you know, it is what it is. I think some of that stuff, it's kind of like Fader. I don't really know if it was ever actually isolated really on its own. Like, I'm not arguing whether it's a thing or not. I just don't know. But
yeah, so Will says that Sean bred platinum into puzzle in the early years, and so that's where, you know, people think like the Het Daddy and stuff. By the way, I talked to Sean at Arlington.
Yeah, real fast before we transit. So, Will, is platinum a homozygous daddy then? Is that what it is? Like, you don't have a daddy, you have platinum? Because that would explain if he brought a platinum into puzzle.
I didn't have a daddy. Or a mommy. I was raised by a pack of raccoons in a dumpster until my parents found me and adopted me a couple days later. But the first couple days, it was just me and the raccoons. I'm sure one of them was a daddy raccoon and probably a mommy raccoon, but I don't really remember.
So are you het for daddy?
Well, it bit me. And so I carry the raccoon gene.
So you're a visual raccoon het daddy.
Yes. Yep.
Well, this derailed fast.
Hey, that's what Brian said.
Rich's Recessives said the orphan gene. The super version is Troy.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I ever come across a snake in my collection that's different and legitimately is a different gene, I will name it the orphan gene.
Thank you, Rich, for that. We will bless the ball python market one day.
Good old Chad there coming up with the good stuff. So yeah.
So it's actually the super version is the Troy. We have Orphan and Troy. Oh my God.
I can't wait till we interview our parents. When I get my mom and dad on here and I make fun of them adopting me, it's going to be so much fun.
How do you make fun of them for like, hey, since you guys were great and took care of me?
I don't know. My dad will say shit like, I wish I'd have got a receipt. I'd have taken him back. Yeah.
That's funny. I love that.
Oh, yeah. I derail these things. I'm sorry. You guys really shouldn't let me be a co-host. You really should find a new co-host.
What are you talking about? This is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Jason's the one that's having to suffer through the bullshit.
Jason,
No,
I did a
love
live.
it
I did a
too.
live at Arlington, and
No,
I
you
said
can't.
one thing about one guy, and these two ran off like a couple of schoolgirls.
We can't. We're not doing this. I will end this right now.
Nope. We have like 9 minutes left. Do
We're
not.
so close, Troy. Don't do this, please.
It's like the
I knew
last
it.
2 seconds.
It's like a tip. Like he was just itching at him.
Don't do it. Don't do it, please. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. But so, Jason, what project are you most excited about? We talked about
that podcast. That question's never asked on a podcast. I'm so excited to hear your answer.
Well, I mean, it's still going to go back to the hypo puzzle. So unfortunately, we already kind of talked about it.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
That's,
well, never mind.
I could change it if you want.
Yeah, do that. What? Yeah, go ahead and change it up. What's your favorite?
My favorite project right now is it's going to be the Asiatic Desert Ghost stuff.
Oh,
So-
wow. That was unexpected. Oh my God, that's amazing. Wow.
And I can't wait to put it in the hypo puzzle. So
Well done. Well done, Jason. I like that. Oh my God. Jason, are you staying at the hotel or an Airbnb when you're at Tinley?
I'll be at the hotel.
Do you do that because you prefer the hotel and like the location, or just never needed to branch out to like Airbnb aspect?
Yeah, I like to be around the people as much as I don't like to be around the people. Sometimes it's nice when I'm feeling like it, I can just go downstairs and mingle with some people, and then when I get tired of being around everybody, I can just disappear. So, and I don't have to drive across the road or whatever. Like normally we just stay across the street, but it's nice being in that venue, especially if we're moving the reptiles around, stuff like that.
I got you. So I don't know if we really talked much about it. Your sister helps you vend, right?
Yes.
What's that? Troy would throw Lisa to the curb so fast for your sister.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Lisa was talking to me today about your sister and how pretty she was, and the whole time I'm like kind of looking at her like, yeah, if you'd go away, I could move in, and like me and Jason could be brother-in-laws.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's possible.
Jason, how does your sister feel about that? Do you think Troy has a shot?
I'm not gonna say no, but
okay.
Jen typically she has terrible taste in people. So
oh my God, Troy, you have a shot.
I wasn't sure what he was going to say because I know what he wants to say, but yeah.
She's like,
basically, if I offered to like beat her and sell drugs on a corner and neglect kids, I'd probably have a shot.
You'd be a shoo-in. Not that all of her men were that way, but a good chunk of them. So
okay.
Poor Jen. I hope she's watching. I hope she watches this. Just to get to this
mad
point.
at both of us. She's gonna be so mad at both of us.
Troy's like, I can save her. I saved Lisa
I'll save
from
her.
The strip club.
I saved one woman. Yep.
Is that tonight's Chat GPT? Troy saving Jen.
Yes. From the streets.
Jason, so if you're not familiar, we normally end all of our episodes with a Chat GPT written story. The first one was Troy saving Lisa from the life of being a stripper, and they've gone progressively downhill from there. So if we don't come up with a better topic, I fear that Troy saving Jen from the life of being on the street is episode story.
Somehow every story time's gonna end up Troy saving a new stripper.
Oh my
or the fact that I was a raccoon inside your building.
That's true.
That's
oh man. Hashtag save Jen. Oh my God.
Yeah, see, Matt said that the raccoon was top tier story.
No, it really was. It was great.
It was,
10 out of 10 recommend. Anyway, Jason, what's it like having a sibling run the booth with you? What's that like?
It's great. You know, Jen's super personable. You know, she's fun. You know, everybody likes her. So that's nice. You know, I think honestly at this point, I think I could just, I could die or disappear and nobody would notice. They'd just be coming up to the Kittinger booth and everybody would be just as happy as if I wasn't there. So
I don't know if they'd be just as happy.
Do you feel like you get more customers when Jen and Holly are both there because they're both super hot?
Yes, I do.
100%. So, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Can't argue that. So
that's
speaking of top tier, Holly's top tier.
I'd like to think so. So I don't know
trade?
how I manage that. I don't know how I manage that.
Do you feel like you outkicked your coverage on that one?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the right answer.
How do you feel about a swap? Like I'll give you Lisa, I'll take Holly, and I will throw in every piece of puzzle animal I have.
Sorry, Lisa, but that's not going to be enough.
Nobody likes you, wife.
You know what? I'll take Lisa. She can come over here. It's fine. I'll take her. She doesn't want me, but I'll take her.
She says she's really into the Cherokee, so I'm sure you'll have a chance.
Hey, she does clean rats, so.
Oh my God, Troy! Why are you trying to get rid of this?
I know. He is abusing like the best employee you could ever have.
So listen, right now, Lisa's got eczema. If I say that right, I don't think I say that right, but you know what I mean.
It's eczema. We're good enough.
Thank you. And it's like it's in like this perfect red trail from like her eyes. It looks like she'd been crying all day, and so now everywhere we go, like you can see people like kind of look at her and like look at me and like look at her, and one of us has to say something. I'm like, no, she hasn't been crying all day. Like she has blah blah blah, and she's having a breakout, or like she'll be like, hey, yeah, I think you're, and she'll like point it out, and they're still looking at me like I'm a horrible person. And so if you're at Tenley this coming weekend and it's still a breakout for Lisa, I guess you can be like, hey, did Troy punch you in the face or something? She'll probably find some humor in that.
Will she find some humor in that?
I don't know. You also can give her hugs. She loves hugs.
She loves hugs. That's true.
That's true. And ask her about her former life as a stripper.
My poor wife. She's never coming to a show again.
She deserves better than all of us. She deserves better.
Beth Ann won't even come into the rodent room. She texts me if she needs me. Yeah, there's another wife I would trade for. I would trade Brian. Brian's wife is super awesome as well.
We're still all trying to figure out how Brian worked that out. I can only assume 11-inch dick or money. Or
whoa!
Oh my God.
Chase, I'm sorry, man. Justin's gonna probably talk to you soon about being on this show.
No.
What are you talking about?
I was gonna try to invite him tonight during KG's live. I was gonna be like, KG, will you please tell Justin to tune into this whatever we call this?
Were you that bored earlier? You were going into other people's lives thinking about, hey, why don't you come hang out with us later?
He came into a podcast earlier today and was like in the comments like spamming, come to our show. It was great.
I was.
That's amazing.
Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Brian said cocaine.
I gotta get those subs up. Gotta get them. The subs and the likes and I don't know what I'm talking about.
We're gonna need more titties on the show if we're gonna get more subs.
I can make that happen.
Are they your titties?
Count, Troy.
Oh, my brother's fat. He's got big titties. Speaking of, I have my other brother. My other brother's here in town, and I haven't went and visited him at my mom and dad's house, and I'm in hot water about the whole deal. So
you should probably go visit.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
no, he's leaving in the morning. It's too late, so I won't see him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hop in the car, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
All right.
Okay.
We need chat's help. What's story time tonight?
Jason, how thankful are you that you came on today's episode? This go like you expected.
It was definitely different than what I expected.
Yeah.
But
good or bad?
Just interesting. I wouldn't say good or bad. It's just different.
Okay, so if we got rid of Troy, how much better would it be?
Jason, 100%.
It'd be a lot more formal.
The only reason I even showed up tonight, I wasn't going to get on tonight because I was like, I'm in a mood. And so I was just going to skip this and not even tell anybody. But the only reason I came on was for you, Jason. So,
well, I appreciate that. And you made it very interesting. So.
Yeah. These two sissies I'm on this podcast with. Yeah.
Are we going to drop a name? It's like 30 seconds left.
No, we're not.
We have a story time.
Yeah. And so story time with ChatGPT. Did we get any recommendations? Or are we doing this?
Time out. Lisa's in the room. I've tried to trade you for Holly, and I gave Jason all of my puzzle animals, and he said that wasn't enough. And then I told people about your face stuff, and it looks like that you're crying, and that I didn't do anything to you. But when people come to see you at Tinley, that, not to think that I punched you in the face.
Are you telling her what to say?
I think so.
If she doesn't,
I feel like he's like, scripting her.
So, and then these guys said that people should come give you a hug.
That's true.
Big
or
hug.
no hugs.
Mm-hmm.
No hugs. for
Extra
people.
hug.
Big,
Extra hug.
long,
Yeah.
extra hugs.
Or not at all.
Yeah.
You know what?
Please still buy snakes for me if my wife offends you and tells you to get away.
ChatGPT, let's do this.
Everyone wants Jen to be saved from Troy. Apparently, I keep.
Okay,
seeing
do we
it.
want to do that, or do we want to write a story about how much Lisa loves hugs?
I would have taken Jen too,
I
but
like that
Jason
one.
won't give me a sister either.
Come on, Jason, help a girl out.
I didn't say I wouldn't. Well, first off, I can't give her, but I'm not going to stop her either.
You're not her caretaker, so you're not her. You can't just be like, here, have her, and I gave you like a goat.
Oh my god.
No.
Okay,
No,
this
it
isn't
doesn't work like
Kazakhstan,
that.
for real.
Does Lisa's family land come with her?
There's people that know you, Lisa, in here, and so Chris wants to know if your family's land comes with gets you.
Oh my god, that's amazing. All right, let's see. Write a brief story. Are we gonna go with Jen or Lisa? What are we doing here?
Not me. I've already been in a story.
Write a brief story about how much Lisa
By the way, there was a guy in our front yard,
loves getting
like just standing
hugs
there a little, like half hour
from
ago.
random snake
Stared at me for a
breeders
little bit, then he kept walking.
at reptile shows.
That sounds like a real concern about your front yard, Troy.
Yeah, it was. Were you here for the cop part? That I had a cop.
No, he
There was
wasn't,
cops
right?
out here tonight, and the last time they were out here, they had their ARs drawn, and it got a little hairy for a minute. And so then Lisa came in right before the podcast started and was telling me that there's a cop out in the driveway again. And then tonight there has just been, I saw the cops go down the street, their lights on. There's been like cars, there's been people walking. Our other neighbors came out and were like watching. And so I don't know.
Well, I unloaded the rest of the rat food and all that, and nobody bothered me.
Yeah. Not only does she clean the rats, people, but she unloads 50-pound bags of rat food on her own because I'm a piece of shit.
He's a hoss. Okay.
That recliner looks comfortable though.
Yes. It's nice.
I think
He gets a castle.
ChatGPT.
He has a chair.
I think we have a gym here, guys. I can just feel this one might be good. All right.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So this is talking about Lisa loving getting hugs from random snake breeders at reptiles.
Don't Lisa come into this again. I said no, Lisa.
They just love you.
Lisa had always been fascinated by reptiles, specifically snakes. Ever since she was a child, the way they slithered and their intricate patterns mesmerized her. As she grew older, her interest expanded into attending reptile shows. These weren't just occasions to see these remarkable creatures, but also to meet the people behind their care, the snake breeders. Most attendees at reptile shows were intrigued by the snakes, watching them with a distance or hesitatingly touching them with a single fingertip. Not Lisa. She eagerly approached each booth, asking questions about their diet, habitat, and behavior. And every time she learned something new, she got a gleam in her eyes. In a display of gratitude, she would ask the breeder for a giant hug. The breeders, often rugged individuals used to dealing with potentially dangerous creatures, were taken back at first. But over time, as Lisa became a regular at these shows, they began to expect and even look forward to her enthusiastic embraces. It was an odd but endearing ritual. These unexpected hugs created an atmosphere of warmth and camaraderie in a place otherwise dominated by cold-blooded creatures. To Lisa, each hug was a symbol of shared passion and respect. It wasn't just about the snakes. It was about connecting with those who loved them just as much as she did. The reptile shows became not just a place to marvel at snakes, but also a place of genuine human connection. All thanks to Lisa's boundless love and affection for hugs.
The end.
Definitely
Well,
gonna
that
have
was a
to
wholesome
think outside
bedtime
to say
story.
I do not like hugs.
She said I have to change our logo to say she does not like hugs.
I do
So
not
that
like hugs.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, guys.
Jason, thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me.
Thank
Good
you
chat
so
with
much,
you.
Jason. We went a little off the rails, as is normal, but maybe a little bit more than normal. But this was a good time. Once again,
Jason, don't hold this deal against me. All right. I hope we're still friends.
Oh, we're definitely still friends. Yeah.
All right.
I should have
everyone,
brought another drink out here. That's
you
what I
should
done.
have for sure. Everyone, if you haven't already, please go like, subscribe. We will be doing an episode next Thursday. We're just gonna have to figure out a little bit of logistics because I think there's gonna be some travel involved, but we'll figure it out. And I
was going to tell you guys I haven't picked a guest for next Thursday because I didn't know what you want to do since we're all. I will be in Tinley Thursday night.
So will we. I think I have one for us. We'll discuss after this, Troy. I think I have someone for us. So
okay.
So yeah, guys, like, subscribe, and
chat,
we
thanks
will
for
talk
keeping
to
it
y'all next
absolutely
week.
hilarious.
Yes,
love
thank
you
you,
guys.
chat. All right, guys, love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.